guys, we have an urgent breaking news coming out. Poland issues Putin arrest warning ahead of President Donald Trump meeting. Wow. All right, give me a second here, guys. Do me a favor, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Poland cannot guarantee Russian President Putin plane will not be forced to land on its territory en route to a future meeting with US President Donald Trump. Warsaw Foreign Minister has said, I cannot guarantee that an independent Polish court won't order the Gov to escort such an aircraft down to hand the suspect to the court in the Hague. Now, it says here, this person who also serves as the country's deputy prime minister told Polish broadcaster radio on Tuesday, according to national media. If they do that, if they try to even touch that plane, it will be WW3. So this is, I think this is the courts, the ICC court. They put a warrant arrest on Putin and also Benjamin and I believe a few others. So I guess Poland has the agreement that if Putin step in their territory or airspace, they have every right to arrest Putin. Because of the war stuff that's happening. All right, so we're going to see what's going on here, guys. Before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters, a prayer request, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to help and support the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also description box. Thank you again for your support. Your support is what keeps us on air. So the U.S. president said last week he would meet the bear leader Vladimir in the Hungarian capital Budapest following a phone conversation between the two leaders and a White House meeting with Ukraine leader Zelensky that yielded few positive results for Kiev. I mean, isn't that a good thing? To kind of end this war, come to an end. But it seems like the Europeans have a different way of thinking, another agenda. So the Netherlands based, this is the ICC, that's the one I just mentioned. The ICC in 2023 issued an arrest warrant for Vladimir, accusing the Kremlin chief of illegally deporting hundreds of these young ones from the war-torn country. Now, the ICC also issued an arrest warrant for Maria. Wow. So, once again, the Russian Presidential Commissioner for the Young Ones' Rights. Now, Moscow does not recognize the ICC authority and called the arrest warrant outrageous and unacceptable. All right, so the reason why they deported these young ones is because in that region, in that territory, there was some big things going down. We're talking about some crazy war. All right, so they had to take those young ones out of there. But according to Western and European, they have a different way of thinking. The European Union imposed a ban on all of the Bear planes in the bloc's airspace shortly after the Bear launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February of 2022. Now it says here, however, if Vladimir chooses to fly to Hungary, he will have to pass through the airspace of NATO members or ICC signatories. Now each state signed up to the ICC is obligated to cuff and surrender a fugitive found in their territory. Hungary, often at odds with most EU members and symptomatic to Moscow, has said it will make sure Putin will be able to enter the landlocked country and safely return to Russia. Budapest is in the process of withdrawing from the ICC. Like I say, guys, if they try to even touch Vladimir, I mean, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty. It says here the ICC has previously ruled this would apply even to heads of states that aren't signatories to the ICC, said Marco, a professor of public international law at the University of Reading, UK. If Putin was on Polish territory, Poland would have a duty to arrest him. Now it says here, but it's less clear how this applies to travel through a country's airspace. Now, some could see airspace as territory, while another interpretation may see airspace as different, meaning the arrest warrant wouldn't apply. Now, Warsaw is more likely to block Vladimir from its airspace or may find itself in a scenario where it forces Vladimir to touch down should a plane enter its airspace without permission, although this is hard to imagine. It is. Like I said, if they touch that bird, it's game on. Now, you have this person has been a vocal advocate for Ukraine, and Poland has provided dozens of military aid packages for Kiev. Much of the equipment, weapons, arrives in Ukraine via Poland. A European Commission spokesperson said last week it's up to individual member states to lift the flight ban for Russian aircraft. The Commission has said any meeting that moves forward just and lasting peace in Ukraine is welcome. There is a sense among some European countries that their gov may not act on the ICC warrant in the interest of reaching a deal for Ukraine, said John, a former UK defense attached to both Moscow and Kiev. You can tell that Putin is willing to end this war by flying through those very hot territories. I mean, those territories, they really don't like Putin. Zelensky say he don't like that man. So for Putin to take, that chance, that risk to fly over those airspace, I mean, it goes to tell you that he's willing to end this war. The most direct and risky route to Hungary will pass over Ukraine, while another will cross Belarus, Poland, and Slovakia. A more convoluted, I truly apologize about the word, give me a second here, guys. A drawn-out flight path would take Putin via Turkey and Balkan nations. Now, Putin is more likely to head for Hungary via the Balkan countries, said Foreman. If the meeting does go ahead, he told Newsweek that the U.S. will likely lean on countries like Greece, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Serbia to allow passage for Putin. Now, the U.S. Commander-in-Chief said he will meet Putin in Europe to see if we can bring this inglorious war to an end. A previous important summit between the U.S. commander and Putin in Alaska in August produced no real progress towards the deal. Trump pledged to clinch in just 24 hours once he took office. That 24 hours didn't work. A lot of people were hoping that war would end in 24 hours, but it was just too late for that. That war has completely shattered. Ukrainian leader Zelensky is not invited, but has said he is willing to attend while criticizing Hungary for its opposition to support for Kiev. So what people are saying? Well, the Kremlin said in 2023, after the ICC issued its arrest warrant for Vladimir and Voval, Russia, as well as several other states, do not recognize the jurisdiction of this court, and accordingly, any decision of this kind are null and void for Russia in terms of law. The ICC said in the announcement of its arrest warrant for Vladimir, there are reasonable grounds to believe that each suspect bears responsibility for the war crime of unlawful deportation of population and that unlawful transfer of population from occupied areas of Ukraine to the Russian Federation is prejudicance of Ukrainian young ones. Now we will ensure that he, Putin, enters Hungary, has successful negotiation here, and then returns home. Peter, Hungary foreign minister, said earlier this month. You know how many country has done the same thing too? You know how many, again, I'm not trying to side with the bear here, but you know how many country the sleeping giant has invaded ever since World War II? Look it up. 80 plus country were invaded ever since World War II. Sleeping giant has went to different territories, has taken certain territories, and again, we are responsible for millions and millions gone. I mean, again, that's enough to put multiple, you know what, behind bars. We shouldn't be in other lands, period. It says here, and our country was not built for this type of stuff. Our founding father gave this country so we could live in peace, one nation under God. But throughout so many years, that has changed. Now they're trying to remove our Father in heaven. They're trying to replace him and bring in the abomination. So it says here, the EU Foreign Policy Chief Kajar said, it is not nice that anyone with an ICC arrest warrant would travel to a European country. And again, the question is whether there is any outcome out of this. So what happens next? Well, no date has been fixed for the Budapest summit, and the news reported a pre-summit meeting between Secretary of State Rubio and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei had been postponed. Uh-oh. Whoa. That is not a good sign. That is not a good sign. My next video, we're going to talk about this one here, guys. Something is not good here. We don't want to hear like canceled or postponed and stuff like that. We want to see this progressing. Again, coming to a dialogue and agreeing to end this biblical war. We don't want to hear that. This biblical war, this war has just become a headache. Massive headache. Give me a second here, guys. Alright, so this seems like it's all the information for now. So I would keep you updated on this news here, guys. So what are your thoughts on this one here? Once again, they are really keeping an eye on Putin. And Poland said that, yeah, they're willing to bring down that bird and cuff him. But that's risky. That's really risky, knowing that the bear have nukes pointed at Poland, and Poland doesn't want to be toast bread. All right. So again, they need to think about this, before they start taking that bird down. But ICC has already put out the warning. Poland has put out the warnings. There's a possibility other countries might do the same. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time later. Peace.